Wow, you are just, ladies and gentlemen, the Jackie Chan of human shielding. Who takes the time to get this good at this?
Before we can go into the apology, we need to talk about the event. All the information. Oh my god, it's so fucking complicated. I'm gonna run it down super fucking fast for you, bro. Okay, so Nanoless is a very famous VTuber artist, okay? And this person put out a huge ass Google Doc with a bunch of receipts and screenshots, okay? And it's all about Sinder. But before I have to get into what Nanoless posted, we have to understand who the fuck Red is, okay? So Red is Sinder's manager. Red is also Sinder's boyfriend. And he's also a cuck. Okay, so this is Sinder's friend right here. She knew about this relationship with her manager. And this is the person that cucked Red, Sinder's manager boyfriend. And he's out and he's like, fuck it, I'll do a tell-all. This is exactly what was going on. So we have these two people telling the world that yes, in fact, she was with her manager. And yeah, so that says a lot about her character. Not only was she fucking her manager, allegedly, but she was also romantically involved with another person on top of cheating on that manager, of all things. So, oh my god. So this is important because Red does a lot of the talking in these screenshots that Nanoless has let out. So you have to know who Red is. Now that we know who Red is, yeah, as soon as that information got out, by the way, she like publicly fired his ass from being manager and whatnot. Okay, so returning to the Nanoless documents. All right, so at first it starts with like Red talking a lot of shit about Sinder's friend Bao. Just a lot of shit about, you know, character assassination kind of shit or whatever. And then Bao, of course, saw that and posted her hurt feelings and whatnot. And as it turns out, okay, so the entire point, though, about this Nanoless document is that he is being overworked just so that Sinder and Red can have exclusivity with this artist, okay? So they're willing to dunk on Bao, their friend. That is, Bao is Sinder's fucking friend. And then, of course, there's Silvervale we'll get into later, which is the desired friend. But they're willing to completely dunk on them and fuck off their opportunities with this artist to keep this artist as being exclusive. Mm-hmm. So Nanoless was going to create a live 2D model for Bao. Bao did a sub goal for $10,000 fucking dollars. And, oh, man, right? Like, Nanoless is, you know, big stuff, really amazing, talented person, right? So Nanoless backs out of the commission as asked by Sinder and Red, and this devastates Bao. And Bao had a group conversation. Everybody was giving comfort to her except for Sinder and Red because they all did this shit behind her fucking back. She just didn't know at the fucking time. Here's some evidence of Red trying to sell Nanoless on being exclusive or whatever. Like, hey, you can just tell them no and just tell us you need us to commission another art piece, and we'll pay as much money, we'll burn as much money as we can to keep you fucking busy. You will have work, but you will not work for others. Yep, that was the sentiment basically. But yeah, Bao is supposed to be Sinder's friend, but Sinder just doesn't want this artist to advance anybody else's career. So Silvervale is brought up later. Her name was redacted from the Nanoless Google documents, but they put context together, two and two together. Silvervale kind of found out, but we'll talk about that here in a second. So Red does attempt to character assassinate Bao, saying she's unreliable, says she guilt trips, and a bunch of endless negative fucking shit. And this is about Sinder's fucking friend, man, like shit. And Nanoless says, like, yeah, this is very much blacklisting. Here's a summary about blacklisting. And then Red asserts that if Nanoless keeps making more models for others, aka making a living for himself, by the way, it'll make their work less rare and thus a diminishing return and thus damaging Sinder's value. That's very fucking selfish to box somebody else's profession and career like that. So anyway, Nanoless eventually gets tired of talking to Red about Bao, and he wants information straight from the horse's mouth, so he confronts Sinder directly about this. Because he feels that it's very unfair to do this sort of thing, and he's being treated unfairly, having so many opportunities removed from him for the sake of this person. I mean, he loves Sinder and everything, but, you know, come on, man. Here's what Sinder says, all right? She simply replies, I understand what he means, he being Red, but at the end of the day, it's just business. That has become a very infamous line. Basically signing on to everything that Red said. So in her apology that we're about to go into here in a second, when she tries to put everything on Red, it's like, well, come on, man, you signed on to this shit. Here's her saying that. Silvervale was originally redacted, like I said earlier, but again, context. So Silvervale comes out, everyone's coming out, everybody coming out with a Google document, everybody coming out with screenshots. Oh my gosh, so many testimonies, right? Prior to this, there were so many attempts on Cinder's part to force collapse in a public friendship with Silvervale that has been making Silvervale uncomfortable. Silvervale has seen Cinder as a clout chaser and has not wanted to engage due to that observation. She elaborates on the notion, including a very forced convention meet and greet of the two wolf girls that went viral. Cinder made this whole tweet right here of stopped by to say hi after my meet and greet, wolf girl power. And yeah, so here is Silvervale talking about what happened here, this tweet. I had just finished my meet and greets, and as I was wrapping up, she walked directly to the screen to meet me and had someone else take a picture of us together. I was not informed of this picture or asked permission, so yeah, Silvervale is not about this shit. Here's a direct screenshot proving that Red fucked over Silvervale's model, so that's two freaking $10,000 freaking models fucked off here. They're going to burn as much money as possible to prevent this artist from working with literally anybody else. In this private conversation, Sinder is confronted by Nanoless as Nanoless is feeling very icky about all of this being coaxed into abandoning one of their favorite. Yeah, so again, fucking Nanoless talks to Cinder one-on-one about their discomfort with all this, and Cinder just goes into a giant diatribe about, oh, I feel like I live in Silvervale's shadow and I'm tired of the comparisons. For someone at the top, she is very insecure. How insecure, you might ask? Well, there is this ASMR artist that did a Hellhound, and in Cinder's apology, she tried to say, oh, well, their art direction, everything was way too similar. I don't think so. It's just because they're a Hellhound, and Cinder is a Hellhound, and she had her fucking audience just went wild on this fucking shit with a bunch of abuse, and she can't just hide behind her audience because look, here's an abusive fucking line, and it was liked by she herself. So yeah, can't really hide behind your audience abusing this person just because they used the fucking Hellhound. Anyway, so we're moving on. That's how insecure they are. So hello, I appreciate the sentiment, but prefer not to do collabs. Silvervale, multiple times. Even Cinder has directly tried to talk to Silvervale. She's not about it. Red has tried to do marketing pitches, not about it. And here's evidence that Silvervale did lose a model directly because of this blacklisting. Yeah. Here's some awesome memes. These aren't even memes. These are just thumbnails of her live streams, Cinder's live streams. Cinder ruins our friendships. My friend should have never trusted me. My model artist exposes all my secrets. Freudian slips out the oh my god. Finally, her Discord has been locked down. Yep. So that's a lot. That's not even getting into her fucking apology yet. And I'm telling you, her entire apology, some of it makes sense. I can understand some of it of how she developed such a complex. But she does spend most of her time completely throwing Red under the bus. Let's look at that. So she wants to give her point of view. Totally understandable. Should absolutely be able to do that. Let's see. So she tries to say that Red, his hyper business oriented outlook, warped my view of what it is that I should be doing. So yeah, she totally puts this on Red. She says that Red is being extremely pushy and handling all these communications. But you know what? I think as a boyfriend, he might have been listening to her and listening to all of her discomforts and all that other such things. And then he acted upon trying to solve her discomforts, And she could have said, oh, well, he went too far or whatever. No, she signed on to that shit. Like I showed earlier, she told Nanoless, it's just business at the end of the day, So I don't know, man. She co-signed everything that Red did. But she says that Well, it's not her fault though, because her mind got warped from all this stuff. It also got warped from being called the Tractor Supply version of Silvervale. She goes into this, and I've read this. She goes a lot into like how a lot of people have been shitting on her like that. There's been a lot of coincidences and incidences where her merch is very similar to others. The whole point of even trying to make this artist exclusive is because, hey, if you're sharing the same artist, you're going to look similar. She's developing a complex about how many similarities there are between her and Silvervale. But she feels like she's in Silvervale's shadow, constantly compared to her. She's developing all these very toxic complexes about this shit. And then the whole ASMR thing, which her apology was pretty fucking terrible about that or whatever, because she was just like, I thought this was fucking settled. But that person, again, her complexes kind of attack that person because it's like, well, she feels that she gets shed on for being too similar. So when she sees this other person maybe being a little too similar to her, art direction and concept wise, then she shits on that fucking person because, well, you are being similar. That's bad, kind of thing. Because, she's just sort of what's done to her, she does onto others, like follow the fucking rules that I feel like I'm having to follow and having to fucking endure. So maybe that's kind of what I get out of that. But I really do feel like Red is a bit of a victim in this. I felt like he was acting in her interest. I feel like she co-signed all this fucking shit. He is very much a patsy and a human shield. It is fucked up that he was a cuck and he stayed with her and then she once again throws him under the bus. Maybe it's an agreement between the two of them in private. Hey, I'm going to fucking do this, but it's to save my fucking career, And my God, man, if Red... Everyone is kind of... I've seen jokes about this. People are expecting Red to put out his testimony, his Google documents, his fucking... Dude, with the right screenshots, he can completely debunk her entire narrative and destroy her. I'm not saying he should. I'm just saying, if he has some screenshots and he wanted to defend himself, he could absolutely obliterate her from space, okay? Because her entire argument is about what other people put in her head, especially Red and his super cold business-like strategy. She forgot about friendship and magic and ponies, and she just became business, cold-hearted business, And again, the whole thing about the artist, which is the entire fucking thing here, is really just that, you don't want to share an artist with anybody else because then you'll be similar to somebody else. But that is... You can't box someone's entire fucking career, man. I mean, Chio Chompy was done by the same artist that did Pipkin Pippa. And, I mean, you can tell it's the same art style, but they're nothing alike as fucking characters, But yeah, making two wolf girls kind of complicated. I mean, but the wolf is... See, that's the fucking problem, is that you can't own angels. You can't own wolf. You can't own... I mean, there's so many... there's a bunch of raccoon girls, man. Snuffy, I think, was the first fucking major raccoon girl. Snuffy's gonna see my fucking microscopic ass and have no fucking problem with me. I have no problem with fucking Snuffy. Nobody fucking owns raccoons. I'm not going to fucking box somebody just because, I don't know. Anyway. So I was never upset about seeing new model siblings and like, yeah, you're full of shit. So yeah, no, she tries to undo every horrible narrative that she co-signed in here. There's a lot of information here. A lot of information I do not want to go over. But I've pretty much like summarized it pretty well. Yeah, she does not apologize whatsoever for the ASMR artist. It was undoubtedly created using me as a reference. This was right after my debut, and like I said, I was very protective of my design elements being unique to me, and I overreacted. It seems like you overreacted a lot about wanting to make shit very, very unique to yourself. And it's just simply because you got shed on so badly for being an alleged copycat of Silvervale. But the bow thing was just, man... I was mature and inexperienced with how to conduct myself online. and talking about how she got into the relationship with the cuck maker. She doesn't want to contact people privately. She doesn't want to contact people privately and apologize to them on an individual basis, which she absolutely needs to do. So she just wants to apologize here. She apologizes to Nano. She apologizes to Bao. All these fucking people. She needs to apologize to Red for using him. That's the only person she doesn't apologize to, because it's the fucking... it's the Patsy. Let's read the Bao one, okay? Since the start, I've always admired you and how genuine you've always been to everybody. I wouldn't be here without you either. I'm disgusted with myself for buying into the narrative that my friends were competition. Okay, again, never takes any responsibility. It's like what all other people put into her head and then she reacts to, you know? I've never had such genuine friendship in my life, especially with you. We've gotten to know each other so well online and in person. You've already been through so much. And the last thing I've wanted to do is cause more harm, but I did. I'm sorry for not reaching out sooner about these ideas that were put into my head. I wish we would have been able to talk about this too. I didn't know about the severity of things that had been said and theorized about my own friends behind my back until now. Come on. Come on. It's my fault for not realizing the things Red was saying about you. The countless friendships I've made here within the last several years mean so much more to me than him and the business side of things. He should release the screenshots. Do it. Release it. And his way of thinking. No amount of popularity or money means more to me than the friendships I've built in this community. I've always been myself, whether that be on the street. No, apparently you've been other people. And their ideas about things, not yourself. I had never condoned this behavior or any of the other things that were said about my friends. I've always wanted everyone around me to thrive and find happiness. I can't stress enough how disappointed I am that I didn't see this sooner until it got to a breaking point. I'm sorry, Bao. To Silvervale. Since the start, I loved that I saw someone else sharing so many similar interests to me just immediately. You can't get over your own shit, man. God. Since the beginning, it's so interesting that you had so many similarities. You are basically fucking me, just you can't get over it. And that's how you see that's how you see this person, And I thought maybe someday we could talk about it all and be good friends. I was blinded by all these hate comments around me, calling me your lesser half. I hate the person I've become towards you. I tried reaching out some time ago to try to start from the conversation to change things and make things right, say hi to you at conventions and support your endeavors. But despite all that, I was still being eaten alive by my doubts and harassment. Well, in Silvervale, if you just reached out, I wouldn't be eaten up by all these horrible things. I try to reach out to you, Silvervale. No, come on, man. Silvervale isn't responsible for whatever demons are in your head. Pressured by the community as a whole to try to reaching out to collaborate. Yeah, okay, no. Yeah, no, people were not fucking, come on. Everybody around you, not just the whole community, was trying to push you to do a collab. Got these messages so often comparing us, and I hoped we could work something out. The photo of me at the meet and greet was taken candidly, and I thought it looked so cute, and I posted it without asking you, which was wrong of me. Good. I was so wrong for letting everybody get in my head about all these malicious feelings. I'm so sorry for the opportunity. Oh my gosh. I don't really know these. Oh, this is the person, the cuck maker. Okay. Her apology to the cuck maker. You were the first person I met as an ASMR artist during a time where I was immature and vulnerable. I ended up being consumed by the content I was making, and it led me to making awful decisions. I still think about the regret. I was not in a good spot at the time. I've hated myself for this kind of behavior, and it took a long time for me to move on from what happened. I have no excuses. I'm sorry that you were dragged into my drama, and I'm sorry how I made you feel after I just wanted to close the book on things. That's it. That's all you have to say. And then it just goes into genuine apology. Okay. Man. How she treats her men is like absolute dog shit. Am I right? Yeesh. Yeah, no. At first, when I was like reading this, I thought like she had some good points, and I could see how she developed complexes and acted upon them because she is a human being and whatnot. But I feel like she hasn't really learned anything. I feel like she's more so concerned about covering her ass than the hurt feelings of others. But what can you really do? What can you really do to make up for this? Well, the best thing to do is that when you're genuinely sorry, you make absolutely no excuses. Now, I understand that the first thing that you feel like you want to do is explain where you're coming from so other people can understand you. But when people are hurt, they really just want a sorry without any excuses whatsoever in the slightest, and they really want you to take full responsibility. And then we could talk about shit later, but the first thing you should do is take absolute full responsibility. Yeah. I don't feel like she took any responsibility throughout this entire document. So that's the problem. And that's why there are so many memes clowning on her right now. I wish the best for Cinder. This is going to be very awkward for the Gamer Subs V cards, especially consider that Shy Lily, I believe, has said that the apology is not accepted. We should watch. What Shy Lily has to say before I close this out.
Having ambitions and goals and the need for growing and a specific drive to keep up with your peers, all of these things are normal. All of the it's just business. All of these things are normal. What isn't normal is putting down others, sabotaging and manipulating them actively, while on top of that, also playing two sides of the coin at the same time and playing one personality in one regard and another personality in another. Like literally,
Calling her
quite literally
two-faced.
being two-faced. It isn't that all of my friends have the same drive. Everyone wants to do as good as whoever. Like when Numi does something that's really successful, right? You can be happy for her while at the same time getting the energy and drive to also do something as great, fun, and grand as she did. But what you wouldn't do is undermine Numi's success and ideas and everything she's done behind the scenes and sabotaging it so I can do it bigger and better and grander while saving face in front of her, being happy for her and encouraging her to do these things and being so proud of her while behind her back. Exactly. Being inspired by them isn't the same as wanting to undermine them. And this is where the big issue comes in place. And it's especially hurtful when some of the people are. It just sucks when someone you really liked and thought was your friend and
Yeah.
and then you help them with opportunities and you platform them, you make them part of companies and other things, and all they have to say is just, oh, the other partner, it's just when they see you as something so vile, when part of what they want to one up you about is something they have because of you. That just hurts. When you see the way they talk about others that mind their business and stay in their lane, or how they go behind others' backs, contacting companies to steal what That's what hurts, you know?